بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
I appreciate all of your patience and your hospitality. I hope that we can come together and listen to something that will benefit us in our life. I came here to talk about real talk. So real talk begins first and foremost in the name of the one and only God, the gracious, the merciful, and we exalt Him and we ask Him to send His peace and blessings and mercy upon His final messenger, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. I wanted to highlight a hadith of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam in which he says, "Alaykum bis-sidq." It is an obligation and something incumbent upon all of you to become people of truth. Some people think it means just to tell the truth. That is an aspect of what we'll talk about today, but we want to be a little bit more comprehensive in our approach. فَإِنَّ الصِّدْقَ يَهْدِي إِلَى الْبِرِّ. Because indeed the fact is that being a person of truth will lead you to righteousness. وَإِنَّ الْبِرَّ يَهْدِي إِلَى الْجَنَّةِ. And righteousness will lead you to an eternal, blissful paradise with your beloved Creator. وَمَا يَزَالُ الْعَبْدُ يَتَحَرَّى الصِّدْقَ حَتَّى يُكْتَبُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ صَدِّيقًا. And as long as someone works hard to become a person of truth, then they will be written in the eyes of God as a truly truthful, honest, true person. A real person who doesn't just have real talk, but he or she has real walk and attitude and manners. So then he says, إِيَّاكُمُ الْكَذِبِ. And beware for a life filled with falsehood. فَإِنَّ الْكَذِبَ يَهْدِي إِلَى الْفُجُورِ. Because then the fact is that falsehood will lead to corruption and evil. وَإِنَّ الْفُجُورَ يَهْدِي إِلَى النَّارِ. And corruption and evil will lead to the hellfire. وَمَا يَزَالُ الْعَبْدُ يَتَحَرَّى الْكَذِبِ حَتَّى يُكْتَبُ عِنْدَ اللَّهِ كَذَّابًا. And as long as someone is allowing themselves to be surrounded and filled with falsehood and corruption and evil, then that person will be written in the eyes of God as a liar or a false person. In the concept of being a person of truth, it requires a major revamping of one's own vision of oneself, and to look at one's society and to rethink how I relate to the people around me. In doing that, in the world we live in of secular liberalism, it tells us that do whatever feels comfortable. Do whatever you enjoy. As long as you don't hurt anybody else, you're free to do as you like. And what happens is, many people who follow that hurt themselves and hurt others. Maybe not by killing them with a gun or stabbing them. Maybe not by blowing someone up. But in many ways they are harming themselves and others as a result of this open freedom that has no limits to it. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, وَمَن يَتَعَدَّ حُدُودَ اللَّهِ فَقَدْ ظَلَمَ نَفْسَهُ. And whoever would transgress the bounds or the limits that God has laid out, then that person has been unjust against themselves. See, some people in the West, because of the way they were brainwashed by their environment, they want to believe that, religion is too strict, man. It's too much stuff. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. I can't do this, I can't do that. Why is it like that? It's too much, it's too hard for me. It seems like it's requesting of me too much. Well, to be fair and honest, some of our mashayikh and some of our religious people are actually making things more strict than the way of the Prophet ﷺ. And they are pushing an ideology and a mentality that the fitrah is not accepting, because indeed it is not what the fitrah was supposed to be nurtured and enriched by through the official, authentic Quran and Sunnah in the example of the Prophet ﷺ. So what we want to talk about today in our real talk is our friends, the people we hang out with, our hobbies, what we do, how we kick it. I don't know, y'all say how we kick it. Chilling out. So these are the things we want to look at today. See, right now you have some Muslims that feel like, I'm Muslim, and so therefore I should go to heaven because that's my title. But I don't pray, I don't keep chastity and modesty as my general attitude. I am not a person who feels inclined to know all the details or any details about what the scripture says, and so that person thinks they're going to heaven. We're not Christians. We don't have a belief that, okay, here's your label, your free ticket to heaven, now go to the club and have fun. We don't have that. God created us with a purpose, brothers and sisters. Clearly, we are not like the animals outside that are using the bathroom and mating in front of everyone. They want us to be like that. They want to. The Quran says, "Inhum illa kal an'ami bal hum adallu sabila." Indeed, people who lose the way of their Lord are like animals, even worse. You ever see an animal commit suicide? You don't, but people do it every day. Obviously, they are that lost. So, in the reality that we're living at, we also have another group of people. They're kind of on the fence, as they say. So they say, well, alhamdulillah, I pray my prayers and stuff, and I try to stay away from major sins and all of that, but I like to hang out and I have my friends, and so I'm going to go to the party and I won't drink. I'll hang out with her. I might shake her hand or hug her, but I won't make zina. That one is playing with fire. And then you have the devoted person of truth that is saying, look, this world is not Jannah. It's not meant that it will be perfect and everything will be what I want it to be. No bad things will happen. This atheist argument is so corny. Well, if you say there's a good God, then why are there hurricanes and earthquakes and people are born with diseases? No religion on earth ever said this life was heaven. That's just some idea they just made up on their own. It's something that makes no sense. This life is obviously a place where there's testing going on. Clearly we have this special blessing of intelligence. We're sitting in this room surrounded by all of this technology, annoying it may be. And you will not see any monkey build a building or do anything like what we're doing right now. Clearly we're no monkey. So we have this responsibility. We have this responsibility of creative genius in the eyes or in the image, as they say, of the Creator. The question is, what will you do with it? Will you be like your Creator, productive, generally providing and taking care of things? I mean, some will say, well, why do I have to follow these rules? Well, God, He created you. You can see, you can hear. You have food at your fingertips, created in the world for you. There are many means by which you can attain your sustenance. You have parents that did what they could to make sure you have what you have. They didn't leave you out to die, which is what would happen if they didn't do what they did. Right? So we have so much. We're surrounded by His blessings. So when He says, pray 5 times a day, when He says stay away from alcohol and drugs, there's a reason behind it. One of our great scholars, who's called Shaykh al-Islam, Ibn Taymiyyah, he noted that الشريعة جاءت بتحصيل المصالح ودرء المفاسد. That the law of God was revealed in order to bring benefit and well-being to society. And it was meant to avert harm and corruption. So you can tell when somebody's got some messed up understanding of Islam, when what they think is Islam is causing corruption and removing the benefit for people. Right? You can know that's a general paradigm that you can look through. So I'm assuming because you all are here that maybe some of you or maybe some of your friends are struggling with the second person we talked about. You feel that, you know, I'm a believer, I believe in Allah, I believe in His Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam, I believe in the Quran, but, you know, I'm just trying to hang out. I'm just trying to do my thing. First and foremost, what we need to differentiate between is where are the lines drawn. And I've been here for, a few days, and I've been here 2 times before in Birmingham. And I can tell you there is a vibe of over strictness, pick the most difficult hardship opinion, and be very strict and separatist and reclusive. There is a vibe going on here that you guys need to be able to identify. Is that a consensus in Islam, or is that an opinion in Islam that's being pushed as the only way, and where is my comfort zone? You'll hear some sheikhs telling you, oh, to take an opinion out of what I told you are our madhab, this is evil. No scholar in Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah ever said such a thing in the history of the tradition, including Imam Abu Hanifa, Imam Shafi'i, Imam Ahmad, Imam Malik. None of them said it. As a matter of fact, Imam Malik said something that is very pertinent to what we're talking about. He was in his mosque, Dar al-Hijrah, Masjid al-Nabawi. He is right there. And he's giving lessons. And the man who was there before him as the prominent scholar was named Az-Zuhri. That was what his name was, from the Tabi'een. Az-Zuhri. And so one day Imam Malik is disagreeing with Az-Zuhri's position. And some of the elders are like, because of the mentality of the Eastern world, accept it because we said so, that's how it is, don't question it. One good thing you have about being from the West, critical analytical thought that can actualize an intellectualism, whether it be spirituality or anything else, which is good. To obey your Lord without question is good, but to know what it means and be able to promote it and explain it to others will open the doors wide open and the people will enter the deen. So Imam Malik, this guy is telling him, how do you dare disagree with the great Imam Az-Zuhri? He says, كل يؤخذ من قوله ويرد إلا صاحب هذا القبر وأشار إلى قبر النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. He said, everyone that exists, you can take their opinion or leave it, except for the one who is in that grave. And he pointed towards the grave of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Somebody's like, he's Salafi right now. Not Salafi, I'm a Muslim. I'm not part of none of that junk that you guys are fighting over here all the time. I don't get it. It's a waste of time. I sat with all of them. Sat with the different so-called scholars from them and so forth. We have bigger things to achieve. We've got a lot of things to fix as an ummah. A lot of the people, why they don't practice Islam? Because religious people scared them off. Let's be honest with ourselves. Let's be fair. If we take the paradigm and the attitude of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, we'll see on many occasions Sahaba did like some of our contemporaries are doing. Astaghfirullah, he did that, he said this, let me chop this guy's head off, how dare he say? And the Prophet said, relax. He doesn't know. That's the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. We need to have that relaxed. Aisha radiallahu anha, adding to Imam Malik's statement, she said, ما خير النبي بين أمرين إلا أخذ بأيسرهما ما لم يكن إثم. The Prophet ﷺ would never be faced with 2 options, except he always took the easier of the 2, as long as there was no sin in that. And Imam al-Nawawi said in al-Majmu' لا إنكار في مسائل الاختلاف. There is no rebuking in matters in which there is a legitimate disagreement in Ahl Sunnah wal Jama'ah. You can say, oh, you're wrong, astaghfirullah, because my madhab said. Your madhab is not authoritative, bro. It's a guy's opinion. With all due respect to his great scholarly tradition, and that's fine. We respect it, but we don't see it as a prophetic word. It is an ijtihad about understanding prophetic words. And our scholars are entitled to those, and there are many out there. So before we go into what we want to talk about, let's not condemn everybody to haram. I call it the haram police. It's like a control issue. People want to be able to control, oh, that's haram. Brother, you know that's haram? That's haram. You know that thing, that food, that this, that, and the other? We got people in America, maybe you can't eat nothing but rice. Yeah. Can't even put meat in there because maybe there was something and you don't know. So that's the first thing we need to understand. Second thing we need to understand is, where are the lines drawn? مَا عُلِمَ مِنَ الدِّينِ بِالضُّرُورَةِ. This is a very valuable statement that is said by our scholars. What is known about Islam by necessity. Everybody knows it. Everybody knows drinking a beer is haram. You might, I don't know, the door's actually closed. Very loud people. Inshallah. But some scholars differed about being around somebody who's drinking. Nobody will tell you it's allowed to go into a club. Why? Why is that? I love for the why to come. To be honest with you, when I was a Christian, that was a big problem. When I said why, they did the same thing as they're doing in the Eastern world. Because Christianity came from Rome, the Eastern world. So I say, okay, Father Dan, you were telling me that Jesus is God and all that. Says yes. So okay, so here it says in the Bible, he fell on his face and prayed. Well, if he's God, who is he praying to? Well, son, you don't understand the religion. You need not ask these questions. You should believe it's something beyond you. You should ask why. So, does anybody here know why you shouldn't go to a club? Why should you not go to? Yes, brother.
The munkar around.
The munkar around. But say you were sure you're not going to do it. I will tell you like this. Because I come from Jahiliyyah. I was there for the first 18 years of my life. And I can tell you that if you go around people who drink, maybe you don't even drink alcohol. But you looked at somebody that drank alcohol and they thought, why are you looking at me? What you talking about, man? I will bust you up. And then a fight breaks out and you're getting beat up. Why? Or you're beating somebody up. Why? Because you looked at somebody that's drunk and doesn't think right. Because you were in that setting. She can be my friend. We just hang out and study together. That's a famous one. We're just friends. Wallahi, we got people, we got youth doing crazy stuff. There was a brother came to me at a university and I went to an MSA. He's like, yeah, well, we have, they were saying that if you use a condom, it's like there's something in between, so it's not really zina. Mashayikh, muftiyin, ijtihad. No, you're crazy, man. What the heck are you talking about? Don't get it twisted. Let me tell you a story. Do you have that? Don't get it twisted. Don't get confused. Huh? I don't know, man. Many times the brother was just saying something earlier and I was confused about what he was talking about, so I was trying to clarify. I sat down, it's a true story, with a Palestinian family girl that lives in the States, raised there, and she thought that she was going to get by using condoms with a certain guy. Then they ended up getting married because, why? She contracted genital warts from him. Condom does not stop genital warts. And genital warts there's no cure to it. It's something that's going to come up. You're going to have to spend a lot of money on all kind of things, and there's going to be warts down there coming up here and there. Nasty. Nasty stuff. It's real. Shaitan and his group are trying to convince you that you can find a way, man. It's all good. Those mullahs don't know what they're about. I agree. In some cases, the sheikhs are tripping. I agree. I have no problem with that. In my studies, I found that to be the case, and I was able to adjust my life and realize that my religion is actually modernity capable. It can deal with it. It can correct it. It can regulate it. And I can be a Muslim without any compromise, and I can also be an American. There's no issue in that. I found that. When I was a new Muslim, man, they had me turned out. I became culturally Eastern very quickly. You get these outfit and all these different things, and here's the way we talk. Sit down so we can eat. Astaghfirullah, you're eating at the chair. If Rasulullah ﷺ was alive right now, what would he do? if he's here in America, he's going to eat in the chair. The reason why he was eating on the ground, because he was an Arab guy amongst Arabs who eat on the ground. It did not come down a revelation, you must eat on the ground with your hand. Abu Jahl and Abu Lahab and all the rest, you know, they're doing like that. So it's not like some holy thing. So the Prophet ﷺ made a statement that's very valuable. And there's two angles of this statement. He says, Al-mar'u ala dini khalili, falyanzur ahadukum man yukhalil. A person is on the way of their close friend. So pay attention to who you take as a close friend. I'm not saying you can't have non-Muslims for friends. I'm not saying you can't be around Muslims that are weak in their practice. But I'm saying don't let that be the norm, because you will be like them. Don't gamble with eternity. We're told not to gamble with $1 and put it in the lottery. Right? Don't gamble with an eternity. It will happen. Shaitan will fool you one way or another. And I've seen people, I've met apostates that they started hanging out, they started thinking like and acting like. This life, brothers and sisters, is a test. Are you a godly person that is patient with fortitude, that has actualized the knowledge? Going back to, and I'll conclude with this, our original hadith. To become a person of truth is not to be a Muslim because mama and baba are Muslim. That does not actualize any true faith in you. That actualizes a confused cultural interpretation of your faith. We were just talking about it with the brother on the way here. What they got going on in Malaysia with some ridiculous rules they were trying to make. It's because they're trying to say that being Malay and being Muslim is somehow one and the same, and anybody outside of that is trying to penetrate. We're not going to let them, we're going to shut them down. You're not really Malay. Islam is a universal concept submitting to the will of your Creator through the prophethood that He revealed and the message that came with it. So you have to first actualize why you should be Muslim. You should be Muslim because you came to know the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ through the vast collection. See, most of you, because you were what they call taking it for granted, you were just born and raised in a Muslim family, you don't know that if you study all religions, you will find Islam stands out heavily with a very rich, solidly, meticulously verified tradition. Everybody else is hearsay, I promise you. That's why Islam, it means submission to the will of God. Christianity, it means to submit to Christ. Hinduism, to submit to the beliefs of the land of Hind. Buddhism, a guy named Buddha. Baha'ism, a guy named Baha'u'llah. Judaism, the land of Judea and the tribe of Judea. It all goes back to a person or a place on earth. People, going through people. This is shirk, right? Not going straight where we should be going. So, Islam has been revealed to many prophets. Jesus taught Islam, Moses taught Islam, and it was finalized with the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. If you read his life story, and his life story isn't, okay, well I read Rahiqul Makhtoum, so khalas, alhamdulillah, I read the seerah. No, that's one simple, elementary style seerah, biography of the Prophet ﷺ. There is tons of different, beautiful, eloquent, deep analyses, I don't know how you say it. I'm in an academic setting and I failed on that one. Of the Prophet's life, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Quran, there is exegetes, there is commentaries. The Hadith, commentaries. All of the sciences and the depth and the beauty of our history. We ruled this world with justice and intellectual greatness for 8 centuries. Did you know that? So we've obviously fell back. We're in a society that wants us not to. We got to be strong. We got to stick together. We got to build things and opportunities for the youth to grow and feel comfortable and not alienated. And we got to keep it real and stick with our deen through the knowledge that it was revealed in it. So inshallah, jazakumullahu khairan.